Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today, coming from America, we have shocking news. Former President Donald Trump was just shot at. There's a full-blown assassination attempt. Right now, it's a bit of chaos, people trying to figure out what's going on. But if you look at the different sources, I've got it all summed up here. This is full-blown assassination attempt, and it was down to a millisecond and less than an inch. So let's take a look at the original video first and we'll break it down. What we've got here is Donald Trump at a rally in Pennsylvania. He's talking to the crowd.
And that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Okay, we are watching live at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where former President Trump was speaking on the stage. There has been some kind of disturbance that clearly sets law enforcement and Secret Service into motion, immediately jumping around the former president in a protective mode. The crowd has been screaming. They are standing by. You can hear some.
This is not a disturbance. Look at his ear.
Voices there saying, are we ready to go? Are we ready to go? We are looking at President Trump. This does not look good. I'm going to be honest with you. From what we can see right here, it looks like they are attempting to move him out, that he may have been injured. He is
You could see it there.
Holding up his arm. He is pumping his fist, but clearly
he was pumping his fist and saying, fight, fight.
Secret Service wants to get him out of this situation.
So now let's break this down so you know exactly what happened here. He was talking here and he had some slides on the side there. Now, if you want to know how close this came to Donald Trump not being around, when he says, take a look,
take a look at what happened.
Take a look what happened. He turns his head to look at the screen. The shooter misses because his head wasn't like this and it was lined up to go straight through. He turned his head and it grazed his ear. This is down to a millisecond and like half an inch.
Take a look at what happened.
Head turns, boom, right there. Because he turned his head there, he saved his own life.
Something that said, take a look at what happened.
Now I've got a photo to show you the projectile going through. If we look here, this was posted on X. You can see right there, that is the projectile going through. He turned his head and you can see it's tearing right through his ear. So if his head was sideways and it hit, if he turned his head, it would have been right through. The shooter had him lined up straight through. He turned his head, which then only grazed his ear. It's just dumb luck. Now this gets even worse because there was a bunch of people in the crowd pointing. They saw the guy go up. Guy who did this, he did it up on the 3rd or 4th floor, the top floor of a building outside of the rally. So he didn't have to be screened for security. There's tons of security there, but he wasn't screened because he was apparently about 450 feet or 150 yards away. Now, people in the crowd saw him go up the stairwell with an AR-15 and started pointing, and they were holding their hands up there for a long time. I've got a clip here.
They're crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, you know, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, oh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And Next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots rang out.
So you're certain?
Just to be clear, I think there was actually 8 shots that was let out.
Shots came from that guy on the roof.
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up
you
there.
saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police in the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service. They were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? This is not a big place.
Did you see, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
The guy goes on to ask him what Secret Service did to the shooter, and they put a couple of rounds into him. So the shooter is down, but unfortunately the shooter, his shot grazed Trump's ear and hit a bystander. So what you're not seeing here is, while there's a crowd behind Trump, there's actually not just one behind, but one's on the sides as well. And because it flew through and it grazed his ear, it hit someone else right in the head. So that person perished, and the shooter was taken out. So those are the 2 people that are gone, but there's also 2 other people that are critically injured, and Trump is injured too. So 3 people injured, 2 people dead. This is not acceptable. This is not democracy. This is the end of democracy if you have this kind of crap. I don't like the direction this is going, because obviously there's a big meltdown from the left that doesn't like Trump. And we're seeing this here being a Canadian channel. We're seeing this up in Canada too. I think Pierre Poilievre needs to get security stepped up. Who knows if this is just a single guy by himself who decided to do this, or was he paid by someone? Was he influenced by someone? I can only imagine once Trump heals and gets back out there, whether you like Trump or not, it doesn't matter. Democracy is at risk here. And when he gets back out there, he's going to need bulletproof glass. And that's something Pierre Poilievre needs to consider now too. It's like, at what lengths will these hardcore leftists go to get what they want? We look in the comments here. Too bad Secret Service never heard of drones. Yeah, why isn't there just a drone flying around? If it was 2 minutes, they would have seen a guy crawling up with a AR-15. We've got this summary here with highlighted. It says one Trump supporter says he alerted Secret Service before the event and it was ignored. If this were to be successful, there would be a serious meltdown in America, and this would cascade across the world. And it all came down to, quite literally, Trump turning his head to look at the thing, and instead of it going straight through, grazing the ear. It came down to a millisecond and half an inch. That's how close. Civil war, you name it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys are thinking, but this is not how democracy can operate in America and Canada, in any democracy around the world. I've got to think that this has got to set a tone, not only in America and Canada going forward. It has to set a new tone of vetting people, security, you name it, because this is absolutely crazy. Thanks for watching.